And hello, everyone. This is week number 2 of Audio Production 2. If you have questions, you need to get in touch with me. You can always do so. Once again, my contact information is right here, jreeves at astate.edu. You can also call me, but probably email is best. If you need, especially if you want to set up an appointment, by way of office hours, you can do that, and be more than happy to be able to talk with you as we go along. So let's go to week number 2. There's some more stuff to do, and you have your first portfolio project that you'll be doing this week. Your goals and your outcomes for your learning objectives. Students will demonstrate knowledge of the basic and complex terms and concepts in audio production, and that's the goal. The outcome will be students will demonstrate proficiency through completion of the week 2 Linda Learning Path. And then your goal is, of course, students will execute operations within the Adobe Edition software as you'll use that to create an audio product for the portfolio that you're going to do, which will be the 60-second radio commercial, which we're going to talk about here in just 1 second. Now, your weekly readings will be from these 4 chapters. And once again, I know it looks like a lot, but I will tell you these chapters are not that long. And they're also pretty easy to read. So basically, what you're doing is you're going to go through, kind of skim through the chapters, and be able to pick up some of the key terms and the vocabulary words. What are some of the key concepts as well? And at least 250 words for each chapter. And then you can submit that to me. That will be due Sunday night by midnight. So please keep that in mind there. Also, we have continuing our lessons from the LinkedIn Learning path. That's from the 2019 Essential Training of Adobe Edition. So please remember to do that, 5 through 9, as that is up for a grade as well. So I do want to tell you about that. But let's talk a little bit about the 60-second radio commercial. This is also due Sunday night at midnight. And what this will allow you to do is to be able to record stuff in Adobe Edition and use the multi-track mode to be able to do that. For this project, you'll need to record a 60-second radio commercial. They'll have music in part of the spot. You'll see the written instructions in parentheses that do not need to be recorded. These instructions will allow you to know when the music will come in and need to be faded out. Let's go back to the actual instructions that have the list of the assignments that's on the Start Here landing page. This actually gives you a look at what is going to be required for this by way of the radio commercial. You have your music come up, and then your music would go under. And then you would say, I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear, they sound great. Then the music dies until something goes wrong, and that could mean big repair bills, or worse yet, the repair guy thinks it's a toaster, but it doesn't have to be that bad because sounds great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any stereo component right there. First time guaranteed. Sounds Great is going to be the kind of your company name, if you will, for this spot. So Sounds Great. They have an expert repair department, and they will fix Apple, Samsung, Sony, and all major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, then the music will come back up, and then your voice could be kind of a whimsical voice in that regard as you kind of get that out. And of course, check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555. Then the music will fade out, and then you say, sounds wonderful in that regard. So that is what you would do. Now we'll go back to week 2, and we'll go back down to this. Make sure that you're careful to time this commercial out to exactly 60 seconds. You should practice this several times before you actually record. You'll use Adobe Edition for the project. You'll use the lessons on mixing music with dialogue to help you in producing this spot. And actually, we'll be moving this around just a little bit in that regard by way of that this second part, this part here on the training, will be able to show you a little bit about how to clean audio, how to repair audio, and how to be able to get prepared for that. One of those lessons we'll talk about adjusting volume, putting audio uh, into the editor, into the multi-track mode, and being able to adjust the volume on that. And what I'll also do is I will actually have for you an example of how exactly this looks and how this would work for something that I do, a 60-second intro to what I do by way of a show that I have here called A-State Connections on KASU. I do the intro, and with that billboard, which is 60 seconds, you're able to use Adobe Audition to be able to go into multi-track mode to be able to put that together. So I will actually show you how to do that as well. By way of music, you should provide music for the piece. So take something that you like, uh, make sure there's an instrumental part of the song for what's going to be kind of the last part, your main speaking part in that regard. Make sure the music that you choose is not vulgar or profane. This needs to follow FCC rules and regulations. The rules and regulations from the FCC, let's go back over to the landing page. We'll go back over here. Actually, right here. Now we know that if we're doing something for traditional radio, terrestrial radio, 91.9 FM, we want to make sure that there's no obscene, indecent, or profane music or anything like that. We're going to uphold to the FCC standards in that. So provide music for this. Pick some music that you like. That might be, maybe instrumental. Maybe you don't have to have it at the very beginning part of it, but definitely while you're talking, in that main part of the Sounds Great commercial, you want to make sure that you have kind of an instrumental part so you can talk over that. So project must be following technical benchmarks. Exactly 60 seconds. Narration must be conducted in a quiet studio environment. Any music must not be vulgar or profane, or you'll get an automatic 0, and you definitely don't want that. Music bed at the end must fade out. Upon completion of the assignment, you'll submit the following. Your PDF or Word document must have the title of your assignment and the script of the assignment that you recorded as well. Please put your name on that as well. And then a SoundCloud link to the audio file must be edited, to meet time requirements and also free of the ums and the uhs and those kinds of things. And you will be graded. Documents must meet the requirements and written in correct radio format. Of course, it's already written out for you in this regard. SoundCloud link meets requirements and must work correctly. It meets technical benchmark requirements, and I'll show you the rubric for this here in a little bit. Audio is clear, coherent, and related to the subject and free of accidentals. And the aesthetics for this, which is basically subjective measurement of how the project sounds, flows, and areas for improvement. We'll take a look at that. Now, this project does have a rubric. I'll show you the rubric right now. If you're wondering how you're going to be, what I'm looking for, well, recording levels consistent with tone. How was it voiced with music? What was the voice quality? The commercial time was 60 seconds. Was it exactly 60? The conversational spacing and phrasing, how conversational was it in that regard? Music appropriate to the spot, pacing for the spot, opening of the spot properly executed, closing properly executed, a mic placement properly used, making sure that this was clear in that regard. So if I'm going to voice this, I would go back over here and I'm going to voice it in a conversational manner. I'm going to voice it in a way that people will, will make them feel, comfortable. I'm not going to force my delivery. I'm going to make sure that it's a comfortable delivery and a good delivery in that regard. So here's how I would voice part of this. You start up, you have some music that's up, and then you have music that goes under. So basically, you're bringing the music up, and then you're bringing it down a little bit to where you can hear the voice. You can say, I love music. Who doesn't? And I love my iPod. They're so clear, they sound great. And then I'm going to drop that music out at that particular point until something goes wrong. And that could mean big repair bills. Or worse yet, the repair guy thinks that it's a toaster. But it doesn't have to be that bad. Because Sounds Great will fix your iPod, smartphone, or any other stereo component right the first time. Guaranteed. Now, once again, all of this is under, there's no music under this part, okay? Sounds Great has an expert repair department, and they fix Apple, Samsung, Sony, and all major audio brands. So if your toaster's smoking, well, then the music will come back up. People do say that music's the food of the soul. So maybe you don't need that toaster anyway. Check out Sounds Great on Caraway Road before you reach Interstate 555. And the music fades up and out. And then, sounds wonderful at the end, right? So that's something that you can do, trying to get it to work out in about just right around 60 seconds. So do want to tell you about that particular part of the assignment. Let's go back to this. If you have questions, let me know. Once again, you can find that script here under the landing page, okay, along with that. And when you're actually submitting your assignment, go back to week 2. When you're submitting it, you can go ahead and do that by way of submitting the PDF here. You're going to submit your actual radio commercial to SoundCloud, and you're going to copy that link over to me here. So you'll submit that link to SoundCloud, and you'll be submitting that written part as well. So I want you to know about that. And that's what we have for week number 2